comfortable for you to begin with. And we'll bring the feet together just to start, and then just relaxing the body a little bit and just taking a couple of deep breaths in through your nose if there's no congestion. And sighing out through the mouth. We'll do that another couple of times together. Breathe in. One more. And just notice how you feel. That's a really effective way of discharging excess mental energy and feelings of being intensely tight or overwhelmed in the body. That gentle sigh is a real powerful and clear signal to your nervous system that it's safe for you to start to relax a little bit. So we're going to now take our awareness to our feet. Very steadily, we're going to lift the left foot and place it out around about the width of our shoulders down onto the floor. So plant the feet and start to just be aware of spreading your toes and feel into the soles of your feet. We do a lot of work where we ground and we root in Qigong practice, and there's lots of reference to the natural world and this interconnected nature that we have with it. So we literally start to imagine ourselves being like a tree. Excuse me. And imagine you've got roots, and these roots are coming down through the soles of the feet as deep as you stand tall. And just push your feet down into the floor, spread the toes. And let's take another couple of deep breaths in and out. So breathing in through the nose, breathing out, and sinking your awareness down into your feet every time you take that breath out. Breathe in, breathe out, push down into the feet. One more time. And then from this place of rootedness, just start to be aware of the weight distribution through your feet. Maybe just moving the weight back into the heels and into the front of your feet, the balls of the feet and the toes. So you're starting to come in and out of your center. So you will feel this sense of activation through the front line of the body when you lean into the toes. And the same when you lean into the heels, you'll feel the back of your body switching on a little. So just getting the body and the brain really well established in connection. Just moving forwards and backwards. So you just move into that point where you're feeling you're just out of balance, but then you come back to center. Then come back to this upright position. Just bring your arms out by your sides a little, and elbows slightly softly bent, like you've just got a little bit of space underneath your armpits, and your palms are facing in towards the outsides of your hips. Make sure now that the knees are just ever so slightly softly bent. So we're looking to open all the joints in our Qigong practice so that the Qi can flow more easily. So we're moving away from anything that is rigid or tight or fixed to that which moves more fluidly and soft and flowing. So inviting to come into this first stance. This is our first practice today called emptiness stance or Wuji stance. And it literally just allows for us to let things drop away, whatever we've got going on in our daily lives. We're just allowing ourselves to come back to this moment, but there's no rush to get there. So we're not switching off the mind. We're not trying to stop thoughts coming and going. We just keep coming back to this central pillar of awareness, the breath. So moving your attention a little bit further now inwards as you focus on your breathing, whilst remaining in this rooted, grounded position with your feet firmly planted on the earth. If it's possible, we're going to breathe in and out through the nose, so it becomes a little bit more soothing and meditative. But it's most important that you breathe naturally and a way that works for you without making it feel like it's getting a little bit too overwhelming or you're trying to force or change anything in the moment. So arms down by your sides. If you wish, you can close your eyes briefly for a few breaths. And just allow your breath to be sort of consciously noticed. We also can place the tongue gently onto the roof of the mouth if we wish. And this helps to just connect the energy within the body, allowing its circuitry to circulate much more effectively. So just stand and breathe and become aware of yourself. And take this opportunity now to just be with what's here. So notice if you're tired or you're hungry or you're cold or you're too hot. And in Qigong, we have this method of ensuring that we never push towards further depletion. We're always replenishing and putting energy in the stores. So we have a rule of thirds. So if you are feeling on tip-top form today, you're not tired, you've had a good night's sleep, you might use 70% or 2/3 of your full capacity of energy to practice today. If you're already feeling quite sort of overwhelmed or you're feeling tired and there's not much in the bank, then use 1/3 only. So we never deplete and go to empty. We're always putting something back in. So just notice how you're feeling and making a really simple intention for your practice, whether or not that's like very, very gentle, or whether you want to sort of move a bit more to cultivate a bit more energy. So we're going to now start to bring the hands together, interlace the fingers. And we're going to start to move a little bit more with the breath. So as we turn the palms to face down with the fingers interlaced, just bring the hands just to the base of the ribs. And we're working with the position of the diaphragm. So when we breathe in, the hands start to just bow down a little. And that's just mirroring the position of the diaphragm as it starts to push down. And as you breathe out, bring your hands, allow the hands to just lift a little underneath the ribs. Again, mirroring the diaphragm as it domes. Breathing in and breathing out. And finding your own natural rhythm, so you don't need to copy my pace. Just be aware of your breath. Move the body as much as you can in time with the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And a very important part of the practice is to smile a little bit, because that really does send signals to your nervous system that you're safe and you're well. Relax the jaw, soften around the eyes. Even cultivate that soft smile and send it up to your eyes. So your eyes are smiling as well as your mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do that 3 more times together. Your own pace, no rush, no haste. And then bring your hands down by your sides. Just come back into that original shape that we started with, our emptiness stance. Take a few deep breaths in and out through the mouth again. So breathe in nose. Sigh out through the mouth 3 times. So we're just helping to really discharge stress, anxiousness, tension from the body. Then we're going to start to bring a little bit more movement in. It's like a little bounce and a little shake. So just relax the muscles, soften into the joints. And this helps to just, again, discharge excess energy in the form of any stress or tension, whether it be mental or emotional or physical tension. We bring in this intention to clear it out, shake it out through the fingertips, down through the soles of the feet. And it gets chi mobilized, so we're starting to move the energy a little bit more after being a bit more still. Then turn to your left and continue to have just that little bit of a shaking action. And over to your right. And then back to center. And then slow that down. And this is a really nice opportunity now to just take a minute to allow for the integration. So it's quite possible that you're now feeling new sensations in your body. You might be feeling that chi that we've animated start to move and shift in the form of pulsing or tingling or new sensations. Just notice them. Notice where they arise, whether they shift, whether they change. Only be with what's comfortable. If you need to move your body or change your shape, please listen and do what's required of you. Okay, now let the hands go down. We're going to take the weight now into the right foot. So if anybody needs a little bit of a chair, or you could lean on a wall or whatever you've got around you that's safe and supportive, bend the right knee a little bit, lift the left ankle and begin to roll into your left ankle. So we've been stood still for a little while. So we're just going to start to open up the joints a little bit. Roll both ways. So you get into that ankle and really start to massage the joints, which is going to stimulate the fluid that sits in the cavity, which will help it feel a little bit more sort of well lubricated and less dry and more flowing and free. And you can do this seated, you could do this lying in bed. If you want to, you can bring the hands out and just tentatively try a little balance and take the foot away. Again, you could use something just to put a fingertip on. Qigong is fantastic for improving balance and coordination. There's some incredible scientific studies that are really linked to amazing evidence to support this as a practice to really aid us in daily life. Okay, then place the left foot down, move that over, and the same on the right. It's okay if things creak and click. My right ankle often does that. Just avoid anything that feels like painful or really restricted, that you're, again, avoid anything that's pushing or forcing, because that's going against the natural flow, the natural middle path order of Qigong practice. And then if you want to, hands out or hands on your hips or using a bit of support, rolling that right ankle as you stand on your left leg. Wonderful. And then place the foot down. Let's bring the feet together and we're going to make a little L shape with the fingers and the thumbs, and bring the thumbs to the inside of our kneecaps, fingers around the outside, and just roll the knees. So this is a really good practice to create heat in the body as well. So if you get cold from sitting around, and I know we all try not to put the heating on these days, this is a really good one for creating internal heat, which is obviously another form of energy. Go back the other way. Notice, can you feel warmth heating, heating the body, rising up often into the face? Great for the knees. We're also getting back into the ankles. You're stimulating the soles of the feet as well. Then rise. I'm going to place the hands into the mid-back, step a little wider and circle your hips so you're getting into the hip joint, the hip sockets. So slow it right down. Often there's a tendency for us to rush in life and rush through to the next task. So just see if we can keep coming back to what we're doing here and now. Go back the other way. Massaging right into the hip socket. And then coming back to center. Then let your arms drop. So this can sometimes be a bit more of a challenge. And obviously today I can't see you, so I'm just going to really overemphasize some of the key points. So we're going to move into a gentle twist from the center of our bellies, because often the arms become quite rigid and we want the arms to be like ribbons dangling from the tree. So they're just moving in the wind and there's no effort there. They just move as they wish. So there's this movement that starts to ripple from the center of the body. But if you notice, from the waist down, my body is quite strong. So my lower body, my legs and up to the waist becomes like a tree trunk. Then my arms start to sway like those branches with ribbons tied to them. And then you can start to build up momentum, and you might find that the opposite hand starts to tap the back of the body, and that's helping to just stimulate the kidneys a little and keep that part of the body warm, which is really important as we move into winter. So there's that swinging motion, you've got that lovely twist in the spine, stimulating all of the digestive organs. And again, it's getting chi moving, especially if we sort of like don't get to do too much exercise. This is a really good one to just loosen up the spine. You'll feel this sort of upward lifting energy. All right, let's bring that to a gentle stop. And that is another one that we can just come to stand as we began and just notice new sensations again. By just coming to stillness, we allow to come back into the moment and allow for the integration, the process of the chi starting to move to where it's needed the most. Let's take another few deep breaths in through the nose, through the mouth. One more. And then a little roll for the shoulders. But see if you can move the shoulder away from the socket a little, so you're creating a little bit of a broadening across the back body and the chest at the same time. Go maybe 5 times one way and then reverse, and just see if you can synchronize the breath. So one full breath in and out to one full rolling of your shoulders. So these are all our warm-ups. So this is getting the body prepared for the physical forms that we're going to move into in just a second. So you can do these as standalone practices or as part of a practice of warming the body up. Okay, and then just a little loosening of the wrists. So roll the wrists. And you can feel that that ripples into the elbows and back into the shoulder joints too. And then go back the other way. This is part of a practice called teacup hands, where you imagine yourself holding a teacup, but we don't have to practice that full version today. Maybe next time we'll get the kitchen cupboards raided and we'll give it a go. Lovely. Okay, and then just start to swing the arms. Are you going for a walk on the spot? And again, be aware that it's not like a rigid, sort of very controlled, held and precise practice. Qigong, remember, is all about flow. So soft, bouncing of the knees, arms swing. Light, effortless action, which cultivates qi rather than depletes and drains the qi. Don't forget as well, I can't see if you're smiling or not, but I'm going to imagine that you all are. And this is helping to like create, again, an upward lift. So pretty good practices for if we're feeling a little bit low, especially as it gets darker and the winter really draws in. Beautiful. And now a little bit of cross crawl, so a little bit more brain gym work. We're going to get the left hand and the right hand to cross the front and back of the body. If anybody can remember that weird dance floss thing, craze, it's a little bit like that. So don't worry if your arms are flying all over the place. I can't see you anyway. Just be light and curious about the practice and see what happens. There's a little bit of stimulation for the cardiovascular system. You might find that your heart rate is just sort of like increasing a little bit, but it's gentle. Nothing's too much in Qigong, we never force. And then bring those hands back. Have a little shake. Let's step wide again, and we're going to come back to that breathing practice. So just to steady ourselves and bring everything back to a really gentle, soft, relaxed breathing practice. So breathing in, breathing out. Invitation to close your eyes if you wish. Breathing in. And out. Your own pace, your own rhythm. And then let's release the hands. We're going to move into our first form, and this is believed to clear stagnation in the body. So we're going to take our arms out, just to shoulder side, and float them up. Like they have a quality of being wings, so that again, this lack of rigidity there. Arms rise, and then as if your fingers become like the tips of wings, we fold down. I'm going to turn around so you can see me a bit better. My knees remain bent, and my tailbone draws under as I slowly draw down towards the earth. So you go as far as you're comfortable. And then as if we're just pulling energy up from the earth and moving up through like an invisible pillar or column at the front of the body. We then lift and we make a triangle with the thumb and the index fingers and lift up towards the sky. Then you bring the hands down, back by your side. So that's one complete form. So we'll get into that together. Breathing in, taking our arms out just to shoulders height, soft and steady, slow and controlled. Breathe out, fold forwards, knees bent, tailbone slightly tucked under, bending down as far as you are comfortable. Be aware of not causing any strain in the lower back. Just moving up this central channel, column, pillar, and then lifting up. Let's do 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Begin to breathe in as you rise, but that breath doesn't have to keep going. Lift and release. And then one more, breathe in. And out. In. Bring the hands down. And then we're going to turn to the right. So the right toes turn out a little. And we're going to imagine now we're tracing just up the edge of the body so the hands don't touch the body. I'm going to come a bit closer so you can see me a bit better. The side of the body. So we reach the height of the chest. And then you move like you're drawing a semicircle. So tracing up the side of the body. And then moving in this semicircle. Because if you're sort of like cultivating almost like a bubble of chi down this right side of the body. This practice is believed to cultivate a specific type of chi called Wei Chi, which is defensive chi. So it's supposed to help boost the immune system. So if you're a visual person, you could imagine yourself just cultivating this sphere of defensive chi that protects us from external pathogens, bugs, coughs, colds. Breathing in, tracing up the side of the body. Breathing out, being aware to not overreach, so you don't need to sort of like go any further than the arms reach with the elbows still slightly bent and soft. And then we're going to turn and do the same on the left. So turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out, and begin on that side. So tracing up, and then out. So it's really slow and meditative. If it's comfortable breathing in and out through the nose, but breathing in a way that's best for you and most supports you here and now is always best. And just noticing that I'm sinking again. I'm really focusing on rooting down through the soles of the feet. It's very strong in the legs. It's very strengthening for the legs, the Qigong practice. Knees are ever so slightly soft. Please avoid like locking the joints because that absolutely stops the flow of chi. So soft, sinking, relaxed. When we relax, the chi can flow. When we become tense, the chi can often get sort of trapped or challenged. Breathing in. Breathing out. Cultivating this really beautiful sphere of chi all the way down the left side of the body. And then we're going to turn to the front. So turn the left toes in. And now we're going to just relax the left hand. And I'm going to come a bit closer so you can see me a bit better. Bring the right palm just roughly towards the top of the belly, the upper abdomen. And we're going to push a little with that right hand, like there's a little bit of resistance there. Then we draw this semicircle below the body. And then the left hand comes up and we push. And then draw the semicircle. And we get into a little routine and a little rhythm. So right hand comes down, left hand starts to rise, and push. And push lightly. Be mindful of sort of not going too far and overreaching so it becomes a bit of a strain on the lower back. Really, we only need to sort of just push to the boundary of the body because we're cultivating this Wei Qi. We're pushing away pathogens, we're clearing away stagnation, and then we're just creating this ball of healthy, vibrant Qi that's going to protect us. So push. Remember, knees are slightly bent, rooting like a tree through the soles of the feet. Push. And then release. Push. Beautiful. One more time with the left hand, so we've done both sides equally. And then we'll complete this little practice by moving up above the head. So the right palm comes forwards as if we're now creating this sort of like sphere above the head. As the right hand comes back, the left hand starts to rise. We're just turning the palm outwards as if we're just tracing along the inside of this energetic, protective sphere of Qi that we're cultivating. And just work with whatever movement or rotation you have in your shoulder. If there's any restriction there, it doesn't matter at all if it's just a smaller movement with the intention of creating this spherical layer of protective Qi, defensive Qi. And then we'll finish with the left hand because we started on the right. Just come back to standing Wuji for a couple of breaths and just notice the quality of sensation within you now. So allowing your awareness to move inwards a little if that feels appropriate and comfortable. And just come back to your breath and notice, do you feel warm? Are you relaxed? There's no right or wrong way to feel, but just using that sense of self-inquiry to notice what's here. And let the breath settle. There might be tingling, there might be warmth, pulsing in the hands. And then we're going to turn the palms inwards. We'll do one final form. This is called the waterfall. So this is a winter practice honouring the water element, which is associated with this time of year. So we draw this energy up from our roots, and like a cascading waterfall, we then let that water element bring its soothing, calming, flowing, nourishing quality all around us. Gentle and powerful. Soft yet infinitely strong, able to carve out the Grand Canyon, yet as humble as can be. Water will always sink to the depths. Nourishes all life. Takes all forms. Breathing in and breathing out. Soothing and calming relaxed, effortless. Just moving with the breath, mind, body, coming back together rather than sort of moving in opposite directions. Breathe in. Lift. Breathe out. Imagine that cooling, calming quality of water cascading down all around. And then we'll just close with a simple refining the chi practice. So breathing in, bringing the hands up to the chest, breathing out and just pushing down towards the earth. You can even softly bend the knees and sink a little. Breathe in. And breathe out. Again, finding your own pace. Not needing to follow my lead. Listening to your own rhythm of life force moving through you in the form of breath. Soft and steady, relaxed. At ease, present. Gather one last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do a little experiment by bringing the hands into this. It's called second position. So it's very similar to where we began in Wuji stance, emptiness stance, but we just bring the palms forwards. So my knees are soft. My spine is upright, crown lifting. The hands just rest. And I'm going to close my eyes, invite you to do the same if it feels comfortable and appropriate and safe. And just play with that space between the palms of the hands. Maybe just push the hands together without letting them touch. Just notice if there's a point where you feel just a bounce or a slight resistance. And then stretch your ball of chi like a big sticky ball of chewing gum. And just move and notice if you can feel any unusual sensations or any sort of a density there in the form of just energy. And then gather this imaginary chi ball and bring it into your belly. Left hand comes to the belly first. Right hand on top of the left, so the palms stack. And just come back to the breath. Eyes closed. Knees soft. Sinking down into the soles of the feet, like as we began. Just noticing any warmth in the belly. Imagining, if you wish, a warm sort of golden elixir replenishing your stores. Opening our eyes if they were closed. We always finish with the closing form for peaceful chi. So we gather, we breathe in and imagine ourselves gathering peaceful energy that we then pour in from the palms of our hands down into the crown of our heads and just bring it all the way down through the center line of the body. Imagine you're filling yourself to the brim, and then this peaceful energy is cascading out from the crown into the room, into your home, maybe as far as your neighborhood, your community. And bring the left palm back onto your lower belly once more, right hand on the top. Take a couple of breaths. Notice how you feel. Has there been any shift or change? And then we close formally the practice with making a very soft fist with your left hand. And then we bring the right hand to meet the left, and this signifies the soft meeting the hard, the yin meeting the yang. And we bow. So we bow to each other across the World Wide Web. We bow to ourselves, and then we rise. And then we bow to our teachers in their myriad forms that have brought us to this place, all the lessons that we've learned so far during our lifetimes. And then honouring this tradition, which comes from Taoism, we honour our family line, our ancestors, all the way back to the source that is one, formless, nameless, or with form and name, whatever resonates for everybody's individual path. Thank you, everybody. So that's our little Qigong practice finished for today. Just a very gentle introduction, and I base those sequences and breathing practices on stress relief, just to honour the week of awareness around stress, International Stress Awareness Week. So thank you. Hand over to Emma, and I'm happy to answer questions for the next few minutes if anybody has any, and I hope you enjoyed it. You got some benefit from that.